Hello, my Biblio darlings, and welcome. Today, we're going to be reading the story called Under the Ocean. It's a really neat story. But before we do that, I would like to introduce myself to you. My name is Mally, and I'm going to be reading to you these stories. And I'd like to remind you, in a beautiful, gentle way, that the channel you're watching is called Bibliothesia. And bibliothesia is a word that I made up, and it's made up of two parts. Biblio meaning book or story, and thesia means to bring to life. Oh, pardon me. So what bibliothesia is bringing stories to life. And how do I do that? By my reading you the stories. And before we do that, let's do a deep breathing exercise. And I'm going to tell you some jokes. And the whole purpose of the deep breathing exercise and the joke telling is to let your body know that it can exhale, it can breathe, and you're safe right in the moment. So let's inhale deeply for 1, 2, 3, 4. And now let's hold the breath for And now let's exhale out for 8. The whole purpose of that is to let your body know that you are safe right here, right now. So I'm going to read to you 3 jokes. So here's the first one. Knock, knock. Who's there? Claire. Claire who? Claire the way. I'm coming through. Oh, supposed to clear. It's Claire. Claire the way. Clear the way. That's cute. Okay. Let's go for another one. Okay. Knock, knock. Who's there? Abby. Abby who? Abby birthday to you. Oh, that's so great. Not happy, but Abby. Okay, next one. Okay. Knock, knock. Who's there? Nano. Nano who? Nano your business. Oh, goodness. Oh, these jokes just crack me up. Oh, man. In the comments below, please let me know what is your favorite. And before I get to the story today, I've got 2 friends that I would like to introduce you to. Hang on, they are coming. So, these are 2 characters that we're going to see in today's story. There's going to be a mermaid. Look at her. Isn't she just so pretty with shells in her hair? And she has a beautiful tail. Oh, look at that. She loves to swim in the ocean. And so in addition to the mermaid, here's a pirate. And he's going to make his presence known in today's story as well. So we have the mermaid. Hi, mermaid. Hi. It's so nice to see you. It's nice to meet you. And I'm so looking forward to seeing you in the story. What's that? You like the people who are tuning in? Me too. Oh, hang on, excuse me. You like today's story? What's that? You'd like to meet your friend, your pirate friend? Okay. Here he is. Pirate friend and mermaid. Are you ready to hear today's story? Me too. Okay, so thank you for coming. Bye, mermaid. Bye. Bye, pirate. Bye. All right. So with that, let's read the story, Under the Ocean. So that was the front cover, and here's the inside cover. Under the Ocean. And it looks like there's a school bus. There's the teacher and the bus driver and all the students in behind. Let's see what the story has to say. Oh, look at this. It's a dedication page, and it says, "To all the fish in the sea." And it looks like there's a little crab under a book. Let's turn the page and see what happens. So here's the first page. Looks like there's the school bus, and all the kids are going towards the aquarium, and there is their teacher, and she has red hair. Oh. Well, class, I hope you all enjoyed today's trip to the aquarium, Miss Smith said to her students after they got off the bus at their destination. Much of the earth is covered by water. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Let's keep on reading. And it is home to all kinds of plant and animal life. Today we're going to read from some wonderful stories that take place on the high seas, said Miss Smith, opening her book and starting to read. And there's Miss Smith, and she's opening her books and she's starting to read. And look at all the fish behind her. So they are at the aquarium. Let's continue on with this page. Zach really loved hearing his teacher, Miss Smith, read from her incredible storybook. Whenever she read from the book, the stories actually came alive. Now, before I turn the page, wouldn't you love to have a teacher like that was so good that when she or he read you stories, it kind of felt like those stories were happening right there and then? Well, let's turn the page and find out what happens. So here's the next page. There's seagulls and dolphins. And on this page, there's the teacher reading a book, and there's her students, and they're in a boat in the ocean, and there's a sail in behind. Let's read what this page has to say. Miss Smith's first words were, "The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat." Just like their boat, it's pea-green. In an instant, Miss Smith and the whole class were crowded into the little green boat with the owl and the pussycat, bobbing up and down in the waves far from any shore. And here is this next page. There's the class, and it looks like a big whale's tail is right by the boat. And here's this page, and it looks like the whale is going away. The class is soaked, and Miss Smith's glasses are kind of crooked. Let's read what this page has to say. The owl and the pussycat looked surprised to see so many people with them. But Miss Smith didn't miss a beat. She opened her book and started to read again, but this time she read from Moby Dick. Just then a huge white whale lunged out of the water and splashed down next to their boat, nearly capsizing them. To capsizing means to sink. Oh, could you imagine being in a boat? In a green boat with the owl and the pussycat, and a big whale came by and your boat almost sunk? Oh, wow. But Miss Smith has a really neat storytelling ability. I'm wondering what's going to happen next. Here's the next page. So you have the class and Miss Smith looking around, and looks like the owl is taking flight. When the boat finally finished rocking, Sue Ann asked Miss Smith if she would read her favorite story, The Little Mermaid. Remember the mermaid we saw at the beginning? Oh, look, I think she's making her presence known. It looks like there's a net around her. But let's see what this page has to say. Well, no sooner had she started to read than Zach spotted a fishtail flopping in the water. The class could see that it was the little mermaid herself, but she was tangled in a castaway fishnet. "We have to save her!" shouted Zach. I wonder what'll happen next. Let's Let's turn the page. Oh, look at this page. It's got the whole class and the owl and Miss Smith, and it looks like they're all reaching for the Little Mermaid. Well, the pussycat quickly steered the pea-green boat to one side of the twisted net. Then some of the class reached over and grabbed it so the Little Mermaid could get free. Whoa! Let's turn the page and find out what's happening next. Look! There's a Little Mermaid, and she's with Miss Smith and the class, and it looks like the Little Mermaid is feeling thankful. "Oh, thank you," said the mermaid after she was pulled up into the boat. "You're just in time for a story," Miss Smith said to the Little Mermaid. Wow, Miss Smith likes to read a lot of stories. Guess what the mermaid said? The Little Mermaid said, "Oh, goody, I love pirate tales." Well, Miss Smith started to read Treasure Island, and sure enough, a short distance away, everyone saw a pirate ship. It was stranded high and dry on a big rock and stuck out of the water. And there's that boat. And remember the pirate that we met at the beginning of today's show? Well, let's turn the page here and see what happens next. Oh, there's a pirate. Look, there's a pirate and a parrot. And those are probably the people that work on the boat with Pirate. But let's see what happens with the story. The little green boat carefully approached the grounded ship. "Ahoy there! Anybody home?" shouted Miss Smith. "Ahoy yourself! We're home all right, and we're stuck too," said Captain Long John Silver, as he leaned over the rail with the rest of his cranky crew of pirates. "Can we help?" Zack asked. Long John Silver replied, "Yes, you can. We were searching for the island where we buried our treasure when we ran aground. Can you mateys give us a ride?" What do you think's going to happen next? Write it down in the comments. But let's look at the next page. Looks like the Little Mermaid, the Owl and the Pussycat, the pirate, and the mateys on the ship, and the students and Miss Smith are all on the little green boat. Let's read what this page has to say. Without even waiting for an answer, the pirates climbed down from their ship and squeezed into the pea-green boat. You know what I'm wondering? How is it that the pea-green boat can hold all of those people? Not sure, but let's turn the page and find out what happens next. Oh, look at that. Here's a picture of the next page, and it looks like Miss Smith, and a pirate reading from a book, and it looks like there's a person in the background. "There's an island close by," said the Little Mermaid. "Maybe that's where you're buried your treasure." So they headed there while Derek took the book and started to read from a story called Robinson Crusoe. When they reached the beach, a very happy man dressed in ragged clothes greeted them. That's what he looks like. He looks like a gnome or an elf. But let's see what the page has to say. "Am I glad to see you," said Robinson Crusoe. "I've been shipwrecked here so long. It's very lonely." "Would you like to hear a story, Mr. Crusoe?" "Would I ever," he said. Let's turn the page. Oh, look at this next page. It's a big man and all these little people. And they've got the big man and they've got ropes on him and they've tied him down to the sand. Well, let's see what this page has to say. Zack took the book and chose a story called Gulliver's Travels. I guess that's Gulliver. As soon as he started reading, they could all hear a faint voice being carried by the wind. "Help Help me! Help me! The voice was coming from a sailor named Gulliver. He was tied down to the ground by an army of tiny people called Lilliputians. Shoo, shoo, said Miss Smith. The Lilliputians scattered, and as Miss Smith, her class, helped untie Gulliver. See, there's Miss Smith, and I guess she said shoo, shoo to all the little people, Lilliputians. Thank you very much, said Gulliver. Then they noticed that the wind was picking up and blowing dark storms in their direction. Well, let's turn the page and see what happens next. Oh, here's the next page. And it looks like the sky is getting darker, and there's all the different characters listening to Miss Smith read her story. What to do now, Miss Smith thought. I know. She picked up her incredible storybook and started reading a story called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The next moment, the Nautilus submarine appeared by the shore. Let me show you the picture. There's the Nautilus. It looks like there's a captain, and it's by the shore, and looks like there's thunder in the background. Let's read and find out what happens next. The hatch to the submarine opened, and Captain Nemo popped out. Can I be of assistance? He asked. His voice could barely be heard above the roaring wind. Yes, a short trip in your submarine would be wonderful right now, Miss Smith shouted back. By all means, welcome aboard, said Captain Nemo, with a wave of his cap. And let's turn the page. Oh, look at that. When they're in the submarine, take a look at the picture that they see. All kinds of underwater sea creatures. And unlike being in the aquarium, this was right in the ocean. So let's read what this page has to say. Once everyone was safely aboard, the Nautilus disappeared below the crashing waves into a quiet undersea world. The submarine glided through the deep blue water. The view from the portholes was spectacular. Everywhere the class looked, there were strange and colorful fish. Captain Nemo gave a tour and explained everything they were seeing. The Nautilus was built to study the world under the oceans and let people know how important it is to the earth. Just then, the Nautilus began to shake violently. This might be a reason why. Looks like there's a big tentacle wrapping around the end of the Nautilus. Well, let's open the page and see what happens next. It looks like it's a big octopus or a giant squid. Let's see what this page has to say. Through the portholes, the class could see that a giant squid was attacking the sub. It wrapped its tentacles around the Nautilus and lifted it right out of the water. It seemed as though the submarine would snap like a pretzel. Somebody do something, screeched Sue-Ann. Full speed ahead, said Zack, tugging Nemo's sleeve. Captain Nemo cranked up the engines until they roared. The submarine could only inch forward, but the giant squid held on tight. Everyone closed their eyes. Then finally the giant squid lost its grip, and the sub shot up through the water. Oh, they were safe. I am so relieved to hear that. Oh, well, let's turn the page and find out what happens next. Oh, look at that. Looks like the whole class and all the characters are standing on the Nautilus. There's the squid in the background, and there's the whale. So let's see what this page has to say. When the Nautilus surfaced, the storm was over, and the sun was setting. Miss Smith, the class, and the whole cast of storybook characters assembled on top of the submarine, that is. Let's turn the page and find out. Well, it's been quite an exciting day. But it's getting late, said Miss Smith. Then she finished reading the end of each story, so all the characters could go back into the incredible storybook. And let me show you how all the characters are going back into the story. There's a little mermaid. There is that character, and that is, the squid. And there is Robinson Crusoe, and the pirate, and Nemo, and the mermaid. When she read the very last word, quick as a flash, the class was back at the aquarium, heading for the bus. Zach thought to himself, I'll never look at the ocean the same way again. And there's the class at the aquarium. Looks like Zach is looking in the aquarium. And let's turn the page and find out. Look at who's in the aquarium. Do you recognize that person? That's the mermaid. What did you think of that story? Well, look at who is back. Here's the mermaid. And, the mermaid is helping me to find the pirate. And here is the pirate. Well, mermaid, what was it like for you being in the story? What's that? You enjoyed meeting Miss Smith and her class, and the pirate, and Robinson Crusoe and Gulliver, and Nemo? Oh, thank you. Hi, pirate. What's that? You enjoyed meeting the mermaid? And what's that? And you enjoyed meeting Gulliver and Robinson Crusoe and Nemo? Oh, thank you both. Oh, wow. Well, if it's okay with you, I'm going to do the deep breathing exercise and tell a joke. Is that okay? All right. See you later. That's the mermaid. Here, pirate, help her to wave. That's the mermaid waving, and here's the pirate waving. Bye. Bye, guys. Now, before we say goodbye for today, let's do a deep breathing exercise. Inhale deeply for, and now let's hold the breath for, and now let's exhale out for 8. And now, let's hear some jokes. More knock-knock jokes. Knock, knock. Who's there? Yeah. Yeah, who? Wow. You sure are excited to see me. So great. Okay, let's read another one. Knock, knock. Who's there? Cows go. Cows go who? Cows don't go who, they go moo. All right. Oh, these are so good. Okay, next one. Knock, knock. Who's there? Owls go. Owls go who? Wow, where'd you learn so much about owls? Oh, get it? Because owls go who? Well, we've come to another great time together. So if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe, comment below, tell your friends, tell your brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas and your mom and dad and caregiver and teachers and everyone at school and your principal and play school and preschool. And come back again. It's been so wonderful spending time with you. Until we meet again.